I wanted to start by saying, of all the reviews that I've been seeing of this game, two things seem to be frequently stated. And this isn't per se true about all of the streams, but some of them, yes. And that is, the only thing that seems to come up with them is Mario Kart World and Masahiro Sakurai. It's almost like they aren't even critiquing Kirby AirRiders to be exact, or how it encompasses how Kirby is perceived now. What is it? 22 years later, Kirby Air Ride was 2003, and it is currently November 2025. So that's a long time. Masahiro Sakurai has had a lot of praise over the years, downright obnoxiously, but maybe that's just me seeing all the wrong YouTubers. Maybe my algorithm is making it pretty obnoxious because the hero worship is borderline a cult, and I kind of find it hard because I just want to critique Kirby, or I feel like I have to bring up Smash Bros. Because he really Smash Bros.ified Kirby Air Riders, which is totally fine. And it is the sort of staple of a Sakurai game. It actually shows like what we're missing out on by him not making something else. It's like Kirby Air Ride had some stuff like Smash Bros. Then he did Smash Bros. And did stuff that was vice versa. I don't remember which Smash Bros. It was. The Wii U one where it had a menu that was pretty much Kirby Air Ride, and that like blew my dick out of my ass. Um, this is just a Sakurai. Personally, even though I grew up with the guy and I appreciate his work, I understand that he is just the director or the developer, blah blah. But he has a team of people, and it's not like he's an indie dev, so I don't really appreciate that people give this godlike status to him. I think it's immoral and unjustifiable. I think it's a problem. We'll say it has societal repercussions that I would rather not have to think about when I'm just trying to talk about a motherfucking video game or play it or enjoy it, really. And I have to listen to asshats like, look, to each his own, I suppose. If you want to be crazy, go for it, I guess. That all being said, Kirby Air Riders is a lot to talk about outside of just uh, Kirby Air Ride and Masahiro Sakurai. So that all being said, I'm gonna just get into the game now. Road Trip was well, it was quite a trip. But I found myself just kind of being leisurely about it and letting myself enjoy what was visual stimuli. I feel like it had the opportunity to be an open world concept, and I feel like it could have had, what we call markers, and you could have drove there. But instead, you're just in this lane of three. You pick three lanes, and you pick a thing, whatever you want. And I suppose you would pick what pertained to your build, which vice versa. That's in unison, and then if you're lucky, an air ride appears, and you can snag a new air ride. My biggest issue with that was I ran out of monies, in-game monies, trying to get my air ride where I wanted it to be, which was boost and speed. And there was many reasons to do that, and I didn't get every air ride. When I was playing, I found this peculiar that I was doing this for the road trip, and I was too busy trying to get my vehicle build that I didn't spend it on the vehicles, and I frequently wondered where all the vehicles were, and pretty much the entire time it was a concern and a confusion, and it was not stated, it was not discreet. So, FYI, it turns out you want to downright hyperfixate on getting the vehicles, and I'm gonna fucking lose my mind because the reason for this is that you don't get the ending. You get a fake ending if you don't have all air rides, and it probably took me like 6 to 8 hours to beat it because it's like an outrageously. It's really long. It's like 12 chapters or something. 12, is it worlds or chapter thingies? I don't know, but it took roughly 6+ hours to beat. I'm not fucking doing that again, and praying to Jesus Christ that I have every fucking air ride by the end. So I'm still yet to Google that, and I feel like I shouldn't really have to for a review either, because I feel like that's a part of the review is to say, yeah, I didn't even get the real ending. I got this strange shadow DDD mecha ending where I just barely understood that this was possibly an actual villain. I thought maybe he was gonna get a redemption arc. And honestly, I'm under the suspicion that Sakurai might be overly influenced by the Thanos snap, because in Smash Bros it was enough. Now it's here in Kirby, and for some reason Mecha DDD Noir DDD uh gets just Thanos snapped at the end, and it's apparently not the real ending. Mother of God. So the road trip mode ended up being my biggest takeaway because it derailed the game for me. I was pretty much just playing it a bunch for hours on end, having a lot of fun. And when I didn't get the real ending of the road trip mode, it just sucked all the fucking energy out of me. And I've been struggling for about as of was it it's midday yesterday. I to even want to play it, but I want to actually unlock shit when I'm playing it and not feel like I'm getting punished after a 6 hour mission thing because I didn't grind the vehicles, which was not explicit. Like, what the fuck? Now I'm going to talk about City Trial. Now, my biggest issue is that it's downright the same map but different, and seemingly smaller. I don't know if that's an illusion or just an a 22 years later expectation of it to be significantly bigger, but we'll just say I would say it's about a quarter the size that I honestly think it should be. My belief is that this has something to do with wanting to encourage aggression, but it also significantly reduces discovery. And I just find a lot of the ways to and fro to be hard to squeeze into because there's these crevices. And that is a stark contrast from Mario Kart World, which is quite a mouthful to get into. You get about 5 minutes to get your vehicle, get your stats, and I'm not seeing a lot of clues about what the next mini game is, what the mini game at the end of the trial will be. I've seen it less than half the time. I've seen I would almost rarely, almost like yeah, maybe 1 out of 5 games I've seen it actually help me prep for it. Otherwise, you're just kind of in the dark and shooting for whatever you can and going with whatever build just sort of happens as you're going, which can be fun. But oddly enough, near the end, now this is where it's almost like an anomaly. You get 4 options, 4 game mode options, and if you haven't played it before, then you haven't unlocked it. So you want to pick the ones that you haven't played before. Some of them are so obscure, don't show up very often. There's still many mini game modes I haven't unlocked, and the mini game mode, let's say Mario Party style, you have to unlock those mini games via the board, which is here, City Trial. And I find that to be outrageous because it will. I've already put hours into this game. I absolutely don't know how long it will be before I have the mini games, and people will come over and probably come over well before I have all the mini games. And the mini games are for when people play the game with you for sure. So is City Trial, which will definitely be nice to coincide. But at the same time, I would rather just have the mini games readily available so that the mini game mode feels complete and I can do that as a side thing. I find that to be I think the term egregious applies here, where I'm like, there's no reason to lock the content like that. I don't feel happy. I feel angst. I feel lots of anxiety, like I have to throw a game so that I can get the mini game that I want, so that I could then play it with whomever is willing, in which to say, I can already say one of my family members is not very interested. I've already been down to about, well, not as many people to game with as I would want, which the online situation helps a lot. And I have not seen, well, I don't think you could do the mini games online. I'll have to check into that. I didn't look into it because I didn't click on that. And when I explored, I would honestly, if I had to guess, no, I don't think so. If I missed that, that's great because I would love to be able to do that because no one's gonna fucking come over and play those unless I have the whole collection. I mean, it's the same thing with Mario Party. It just feels kind of stupid that you have to go unlock them. It's ideological. Like you throw games to just to get the unlocks. That is the opposite of reward. That's outrageous, egregious. To save myself a stroke, I'm gonna put a pin in the city trial and just say, overall, I would say that it doesn't feel as good as the original games. And I'm gonna then go and I'm gonna I'm just gonna veer off now into the race mode, which I have not fully explored because a lot of the races can be events and are, or which means the road trip or the city trial can include them. And then I'll talk the top mode later because that's a whole other thing. But the race mode, it feels simplistic compared to Mario Kart. It's really kind of nice to look at. I would argue, yeah, it's definitely nice. It's nicer in an artistic rendition than Mario Kart, or to give it a contrast, Mario Kart, right? There's literally no other game I could think of to compare it to. Maybe Sonic Racers, but I didn't play a lot of that because they fucked up my pre-order bonus when I tried to upgrade to the $20 DLC that they didn't sell to you for $30 if you didn't do the pre-order right. So I'm still waiting on that to go on sale, and I hope I get my Werehog back. So that's a short version of that. So I would say there's no transition like there is in Mario Kart World or in Sonic Racers or whatever it's called. And I would say that's more or less not a problem really. There's no cups. If there are, I missed it. So you just pick it, you do a race. If you win, that's cool. Maybe the game gives you kind of like achievements or markers to sort or ideas what to do. Oh, suck off five DDs. I have not found Waddle Doo. I have not found him. I'm sure he's somewhere in the game. I'm probably going to be kind of annoyed when I find him, but there's a lot of characters in the game, and so far not a lot of other things. And this is kind of, I'm going to hold on to those for a minute before I lose my fucking mind. But we'll just say the races don't feel as good as they do in Mario Kart. The air ride doesn't. It doesn't really. It feels like all the varieties, some of them are kind of. I think most people would agree terrible. I can deal with it, but like it's better when you have something like City Trial or the road trip when you can modify the vehicle, and so it's not as slippery, and then you get the benefit of whatever it does right. So you can fixate on that. You won't see that in the races. They're set to their defaults, which is like obviously you need a mode for that, which you top mode is the same way, and so these act almost better as mini games, or as when it shows up as a mini game, here's a single lap, I hope you put in the right stuff. That can feel a lot cooler. So it seems to come back to city mode quite frequently, and I was surprised at how little I selected the racing modes, the actual racing modes in freaking Kirby AirRiders. And this restricted some of my unlocks, so I tried to go and do it, and there's just something about it that has a Splatoon 3 effect on me, where the matches are too short and I just feel like I'm grinding matches, and I'm just starting to lose track of the investment in actually winning those matches. There's like a TikTok brain effect, where an ADHD
tiny
brain effect,
counter.
where I
Why
feel
would
like
they
certain
do
people
that?
with really, really,
No, I hope
really
they're not
short
those who
attention
does that.
spans will fucking love it. And my theory feels
That's a fun guy.
somewhat confirmed by this with
If I
Mario
never
Kart
remember him
World.
still.
People
Except, you know
claiming
what the fuck it
weird
is gonna say?
things that I'm
If
not
someone is
sure
still
how to
commenting,
explain,
add to
but
my
the
chat kit on
as I jokingly
dildo.com.
call
Thank you, bot.
intercourses, the courses between the courses, I forget what they call these
That's
road
a
segments. I love them.
defense
I
up.
thought they
That
breathed a
one's
lot of
power.
life, and I would have had no
Oh,
problem
nope,
if
that one's
Kirby
still just a
AirRiders did
power.
something similar with
Top.
an open world concept. I
Top.
would have probably been happier. In fact,
Wait,
I would have
what
I
does it say
would
the
have
top
have
top?
not I
It's
wouldn't
not the
I would
top
love
mode.
that.
Why would
I
you
would
use
I
that
would
word
even
if it's not the
consider that
top
as a
mode?
future
Top and the
DLC.
dip
It
in
would
the
make me
mode.
happy, or an expansion, so to speak.
Excuse me?
Again, to save myself from the heart
Why would
attack
anything
that it would take to try not
what
to
the
rant
fuck is
about this for
that?
the rest of my fucking
Who
life,
said
but
that?
Top Riders is pretty cool. It has all the same things I said about the other race.
Oh, is it
All the same
unlimited?
effects, where Axe Better is a minigame that shows up when you've been playing City Trial or something that leads into it.
Saw this
The
coming.
road trip
I saw
mode,
this coming.
even.
I should not have
Top,
used my
it
penis
seems
hole.
like there are a lot more
Oh, they do
vehicles that
respawn a
are
little bit.
objectively better than
Oh
others,
my god.
and the races don't feel very balanced because you know how in Mario Kart people might get the right
Oh,
character
cut it up.
kart and then it just doesn't feel like a fair race, and
Oh,
sometimes you're
grab
just
the
like, come on,
nipples.
you can't pick
Grab
that
the
character in that
nipples.
cart. Now you just screwed me. I
Oh, there
can't
you go.
compete. Sometimes I had those feelings, especially with
Oh,
Mario Kart 8, not so much with
are you
Mario Kart
kidding?
World, but I mean, part of that is the intersection courses. Whereas
I think
with
it's really
Kirby
bold that they.
top down is like
I
almost,
can't
it's a
process that.
fancy, a
I don't know
squiggle,
this.
we'll
I
call
don't
it,
know.
tiny little, and you want to play it like it's a top
I
down.
can't process
It's
that.
kind of interesting, but at the same time, it is clear that some vehicles are so much objectively better that the balance is horrid,
I
and you're
can't.
gonna want
Cool.
very
Chat.
specific
There it is.
vehicles. It kind of makes a lot of sense in City Trial,
Probably my
down
favorite.
to the point that it's
Weird ass fucking
awesome.
designs.
But when applying it to
Weird
the
shit.
racing
The
points, the
Pisces
vehicles and
vehicle.
character specials are so
Okay.
ungodly
Whoops.
unbalanced. It's probably some of the most
Don't know. Do
unbalanced
not
shit in the
have any
whole world
thoughts on that.
since Smash Bros. Ultimate,
There's a
and it
border
just
in
seems
my
like
suit.
Sakurai
There's
doesn't
a
know how to
border
balance
in
shit.
my suit.
And I don't even know. Look, I don't know what to tell you. I
Oh my
genuinely
god.
feel that he doesn't know how to balance shit because he's too worried about
Oh,
making something cool.
oh
Then,
god.
and it's, oh, will
What,
it look
break
cool?
800
Is that
or is my
fun?
AI
Does
off
that
its ass
add,
dude?
wouldn't it be so blank? And then he doesn't give a
Uh-oh.
flying fuck
Oh
about
god, what
whether
is
it's
happening?
fair or balanced. It's like they're
Oh no, did
concepts
I
that
do
don't exist in
worse?
his head, which
I think I
I
did
find
significantly
immoral and
worse.
creepy. But that's
I
just me
did,
being
but
a
so did
fucktard.
he.
I
And
really
cat.
want to respect other people's opinions, but sometimes when I think about Sakurai, I'm ready to start
Munchie.
punching shit. That guy
Munchie
has
moron.
some kind
Munchie
of fucking
muncher.
disease. I'm telling you, him and his
Munchie
fan base are the most
munchos.
fucking annoying
Munchie
people.
munchies
Like,
munchos.
I want to be a
Munchos.
fan,
Munchie
but
muncher.
please fucking
Ugh.
keep it in your pants,
Why are they
guys.
putting the
It's
cat
fucking weird.
mouth like the broken lip mouth?
Well, we're
The
in the
like
neck of the woods.
diseased
We're
mouth.
kind of near the cherry on top at this point.
Time
Only things left to really talk
race.
about are really the
Don't know
minute
why they put the
details, in
weird
which to
diseased
say.
mouth
I will
lip
start by saying
deformation on
the
things.
music.
Fine.
The music
Yeah,
is
speed.
uh,
Gotta
sometimes pretty
think
cool.
like the
Some
snake.
instruments are pretty
Gotta
neat,
be
but
the
it's
man.
pretty lackluster, and almost started feeling this way with like
Man, I remember
Mario
how
Kart World. Some of the
imaginative
songs,
I
it's like,
would
okay,
get
here
about
comes
this
the
and what I
hick
would
music
think the
again, the
next
redneck,
Kirby game would
the
be.
southern music,
And then when
beep
I
beep beep
got like
beep,
the Super
and there's a
Nintendo
lot of
game
like
for
this
the
kind
next
of
30
moments in
fucking years,
Kirby,
I was really
but they're
depressed.
more
At
cringe
least we have
than they
Kirby
are
AirRiders too.
like. I would argue that the vast majority of people would agree that the theme song to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is fucking horrid, and I haven't met
Natural
anyone who
humor,
likes it.
a
And the
lot.
theme song to Kirby AirRiders is the same
This
way.
is
I
still a
want to
never-ending shit
immediately
show.
start
Weird
bashing Start
menagerie.
because I
I
am
mean, it takes longer than you
embarrassed
think. We're at
by
22 minutes.
the
It takes so
music
much longer than you
in
would
that
think
intro, especially with
to
the singing, which will be
get
found in the road trip mode,
get
in the
through a single
credits, which I
round.
didn't get to
Like
enjoy. I skipped through them. I was
stage. One
embarrassed. It's
stage is close to
embarrassing,
about
and I'm going
30
to explain
minutes.
why that's embarrassing.
I
There's
don't
one thing
remember
to be
the.
playing a cute game that's for
economy.
everyone. And then,
Damn.
obviously
Hitting
lots
me
of
the
kids
same
are going to
way.
love it because it's for everyone.
Okay, here's
But
Neko.
I have an
The
issue
corrupted
with
he's a car.
this
And he drives a
embarrassingness can be
car.
described as kind of,
Does it still
it's
have a brown eye?
emotionally immature. The
Oh,
music
I didn't realize
sounds
you could move the camera.
really like a teenager
Oh,
would listen to it
up
and
and down?
cry.
How did I
Like, it
only just
doesn't,
figure that
it's not
out?
very adult,
I
and
was
I
like
understand that
going
this
to
is a kid's
inspect his
game, but you
vehicle
can make
and then
kid-like music, and adult
found
can
out
be like, oh,
that you
that's
can
sweet, that's fun,
like
that's
move the
nice. But
camera
instead,
with
it's like,
it.
yo, chill.
I don't understand
Like,
that
like,
design choice.
girl, take your meds. Because this is
I'm
fucking
sorry.
weird.
The
It is
bump,
weird
you would think
how
bump through ring
immature
or
some of the music
dash,
in Kirby
right?
and other
Okay,
Sakurai games
but
feel.
like
I
then you
wonder
don't
if
get the
he's
ring
like
and then the bump slows it
underdeveloped,
down.
like if he's
And
a
then it's
little
like,
bit
I guess
too
I should
much of a
know.
child at heart. I
And it's like, is
honestly
that how
don't
it?
want to keep
And it just
attacking
kind of
his character,
floats.
but he did make the
And your
game, and
brain, you're like,
apparently
what?
he is an indie
No, he's
developer and
trucking the
made it by
seeds.
himself. I'm joking, but that's how everyone acts. They act like he didn't have a fucking $1 billion conglomerate back him up with
Oh,
thousands of
zombies.
fucking employees, because it's a Sakurai game, so it's just him apparently. I fucking get really mad about it because I'm really anti that kind of
I'm gonna kick
Hollywoodization
my
of things.
big
I find it to
ass
be
platinum bro.
increasingly irritating. Like, there's probably a
$4.
word for it, and I don't know what it
You
is.
should
An
check out my
oligarchy,
Twitch.
huh? A pyramid scheme. What the
Shared
fuck
their
do they call
will
that
as opposed
shit
to their
with
ego.
Illuminati shit? It's, I don't know.
What
It's
the
like,
fuck?
it's a little too hero worshipy, and I cringe at that. And this music kind of makes me just cringe harder because
That's
I'm already, my asshole
insane.
turns inside out at that point. Forgive me for this final part, because now that I'm done with what I feel like I've actually really
Um,
gotten the meat and cheese, we're
what
almost at
even,
like scraps
what even the
territory now,
fuck
and
was that?
it's gonna be increasingly
What
difficult to
even the fuck
nitpick
was
these
was he
scraps.
even
So
telling
I'll
a
just
story?
say
I mean, honestly,
gummies. You get gummies when you
would that
beat
count as anything?
NPCs and people. When you beat people in a
That
race or
just
whatever the
fills your
context
special
is, you
meter.
get gummies. Except I don't think in
Big
road
giant
trip mode,
fucking
but
fat
I
fucking
don't
face.
recall getting gummies in that. I don't recall getting almost any rewards in road trip mode. I would
Never.
really recommend just skipping
Just a
it
special
because
meter.
it
I
is
don't get it. It's a
it's
big
actually
temps. Why would you want temps? Those
emotionally
are
hurtful
consumer
to
waste.
have
I mean,
to
I
be
need
told your
bills.
6+ didn't count because you didn't do it the
Temps
right
can help
way,
you get
apparently.
bills.
And I'm not putting another 6 hours into
Turning in, so
fucking
that looks like a
boring ass
top
shit.
down
So
in the picture.
I'm literally, oh,
Oh look,
anyways,
it's
anyways,
Gorb.
so these gummies,
What's his
right?
name? I forgot his
You can
name.
make Kirby do just a couple things. I think he's like,
Castlevania.
you can be a little
That's his
sucky
name.
fucky with the gummies, and
Do you ever
when you collect your gummies, you make a little
hairs
pool
out
of
of
the
your
gummies
fucking
and just
ball
play with
sack?
them like a baby, and that's it. You just play with them like a baby, and you collect gummies. It's like, whatever. It's cool. I don't know. I don't know. If I was younger, I probably would have loved it. I would have been like, oh my god, the gummies. But like, that's beyond the point. I don't even know like how to start, but I will.
You're not
I'm
allowed to
gonna.
have friends if you want to be a
I'm
streamer.
gonna try
That
to
is becoming
fucking hop on
increasingly
the
good.
fattest dick ride of a lifetime and start talking about the vehicle
Got a
customizations.
sticker.
There's
Got a
this
sticker.
weird
You,
store. It's like a fake store. It's where
boss.
you go
I am coming up.
to customize them, and you buy the customizations, and then on checkout it's like it'll add up, but it doesn't let you edit the vehicle directly. You have to go to
Oh, if
like
I'm gonna have to
my
download all
vehicles,
these,
which
maybe
is
I
not
should
to be
just give up on the
confused
streaming
with
aspect
my garage.
and then go
Those are
for
all
the
different, and then there's
upload
even a
aspect.
fourth thing which is
Although
different.
while
So
you're
that's
streaming,
what's my
yeah, you
garage.
might
You
as well
pick your
stub
favorite
dip.
ones, you put them on
Which
display,
keeps saying
and
I
you
might
can
be just
spend your
streaming
points
to
to get
YouTube
better
from now
looking
on, but I
garages.
don't.
It's a little bit
I didn't get shit on
GTA-esque.
that. I
It's
didn't get
just
shit
sort
on
of for
that. But
you to
this
look
bot
at,
farm,
but it's not quite, it's
I
nowhere
don't know
near as
what's
cool as
real.
GTA.
And
So the other thing is
uploads
there's
to
not
YouTube,
nearly
but
enough vehicle customization
I
options.
don't know
There's
why.
plenty of like stickers, which are just
Oh, I guess
essentially,
because YouTube won't bury them, huh?
JPEGs.
Guess I should
So
just
obviously
follow
putting
the
those in the game was
Vinesauce
easy, but
playbook,
even
huh?
then I would say there's surprisingly not a lot of
Vaginal.
those, even though that's the beef and
Mm,
cheese of the fucking vehicle
wow. Look
customizations.
at you have a
The
hole in
skins
it,
are
bro.
really like,
Why?
there's not a lot. and there's
If
only
you got
really
a disease, I
primary
feel so bad
colors
for you,
for under
cloud.
your
That
car's
poor
glow.
cloud has a
You get about
horrible,
4 or 5 sound
horrible
options, which is
disease.
actually really
I saw a
cool.
video once
And
where it
then
said
your,
people
I'm
were
just gonna call them
donating their
knickknacks because I
mouths
don't
to
remember the
help the
name to them. But
children,
your
and I
knickknacks, let's
thought,
say
but
you want to
that
put a
means
mirror
they
or a
don't have
little
lips.
ball chain or a
Now in their
dice
lives,
on your
and
cart.
it's like, yeah, but these are
You
children.
get
Oh,
three per
you might be
vehicle,
being a little bit
and
too nice. I think you kind of
sometimes it don't look so good.
want to do a
Sometimes it
really
doesn't
big with the
match up
model
at
and
all.
next year if you can
And
do that.
there's really, I would say, maybe a
So back to
dozen,
the
maybe
street. Is this a
24 of
new
them
street?
to unlock, and it's
Whoa!
like
Hey, this is the
shocking. I think they'll
Vanguard
probably
street.
update it
Hold
later,
on, we got the
but
Vanguard
holy
music going
shit, the
on.
customization
Cool.
is significantly more
This is
limited
the
than
city
I
of
had
giants,
thought, and
but
discombobulated between
I'm not.
different
I
places
don't
to go
feel
to
like
do it.
we're.
Again, if you
I mean,
just
I
wanted
don't
to go
even
to the
think I've
store,
seen that
you
happen
can
in
edit
the
your
city trial,
vehicle,
so
and then you
just
could go on
pisses me
checkout,
off. I
but
wouldn't even know it
it
was a
will
thing right
default
now
to
if
the
I didn't play the
car's
original.
to the
How many
AirRides
hours
default
in
colors,
this shit
meaning you
now?
have to
Like,
go
it feels like
to, and not my
probably
garage,
should have been
my
able to see
vehicles
that,
or something like
but
that, my AirRides, and you have to
maybe
go
online
there,
is just not
and
as
then you
good
can
as local.
decide whether you want
We'll
the
find
base to
out
be
if I ever get to
chromatic,
play this with cousins.
etc. Pick red or yellow, and that's only really truly necessary if you're going to change the luminosity or
So
whatever,
if
I
I'm gonna have
forgot
to
the word,
download all these, maybe I should
how the
just give up on the
transparency
streaming aspect
of whatever skin it is you're
and then go
applying.
for
So
the
that took
upload
a
aspect.
shocking amount
Although
of my
while you're
life
streaming,
to go do.
yeah, you
Like
might as well just double
I
dip.
mean, time, it
Which
just,
is to say,
I
I'm gonna
need to
be just
not be
streaming
so
to
fucking
YouTube from now
silly,
on
but
because
it took a
I didn't
shocking
get
amount of
shit on
time to
there. I
go
didn't get
do,
shit on
is the
that. But
short
this is bot
version.
farmed. I don't know what's
You
real.
have to get the cart
Upload's the YouTube,
again.
but
If you, every time you have to want,
I don't
let's
know
say you have
why.
3 different design ideas, you have to have the same
Oh,
cart
I
three
guess this
times. I
YouTube
don't
kind
know
of
how many
varies them,
times you
huh?
could get the
Guess I
cart,
should just
and also in your
follow the
garage,
Vine
you have to
Sauce
buy the bigger
playbook,
ones,
huh?
the better ones,
Oh,
GTA
I'm
style,
a
in order to
pro.
put
I'm a
a
pro.
certain amount on
I'm a
display.
pro. I'm gonna die
That being
alone.
said, the online feels
Nothing
pretty
matters. I don't
fluid.
want
I
to die
don't
alone.
see
I have
many
nothing.
disconnects.
I am
Sometimes
nothing.
people leave. I
If I
assume they're
died,
quitting.
nothing would
There doesn't
change.
appear to be
Okay,
very
maybe
much
like my
lag. It
mother would
seems
end up
pretty
more
fluid,
lonely. That's better for
like
now.
how you would hope it would
Okay,
be,
you're my
given
other
that you're
family
paying
members, I
for it. So
suppose.
I don't really. I guess I
That's
need
the
to
first time I ever
mention
made it up
that
there.
the
And
online
I didn't get to
feels
see
good. It
what it's
feels
like.
good.
It was a big
So the
zigzag turn. I
last
didn't
part
get
of this
to
like vehicle
see it.
shit is the
The
weird
vaginal
online
uterus.
store. So you can post your vehicles, see what they're worth,
Wow.
see what
You
who's
have a
buying it,
hole in your
whatever.
lip, bro?
It's like the last
Why?
thing I think of because of all
You
the
got a
effort that
disease. I
goes
feel so
into
bad for
other
you,
forms
Cloud.
of vehicle collecting.
That poor
And
Cloud
it is
has a
fun, but I
horrible,
haven't revisited it since
horrible
I used it
disease.
one time
I saw a
because
video
I've been
once where it
so
said
busy
people
with
were
other
donating
shit
their
in the game,
mouths
just
to
like
help the
getting vehicles,
children. And
customizing
I
them,
thought, but
yet
that
alone
means they
going
don't have
into the
lips.
and displaying them for myself and
Now,
my
then their
garage
lives are over.
segment,
And
yet
it's like,
alone
yeah, but
going to
these are
the
children.
online to
Okay,
post them.
you might be
And
being a little bit
it's
too
very
nice. I think
similar
you're
to
kind of.
Smash Bros.
I think we're really
Wii,
getting to the bottom
Smash
of the
Bros.
issue
Brawl.
when we do that.
It's like Masahiro Sakurai never figured out how to make a
So we're back
storefront
to the
better than
street.
that, and it's pretty much exactly that. Incredibly
Whoa!
limited, hard to dig through. You can't even categorize by each vehicle, and it you don't know what popular means. Like people are
Cool.
buying it. It doesn't mean I don't know what
This is the city of
that
giants,
means,
but
and they go up in prices, and then people
I don't
will,
feel
let's
like
say
we're.
this vehicle
I
that
mean,
you
I don't even
made,
think I've
I
seen
forgot
that
what it was
happen in
called,
that
but they
city
made it
trial,
look like
so
a
it
GameCube, the square one,
just
made it
pisses
look
me
like a
off.
GameCube.
Wouldn't
So
even know it was
it
a
ended
thing
up
right now
being
if I
worth a
didn't play the
shitload
original.
because people were like, I
How
want
many
that.
hours
Some guy
in
bought
this
it,
shit
or
now?
maybe
Like it
replicated
feels
it,
like yeah.
or made their own,
Probably should have been able to see
and they
that.
post it,
But nah.
and then it goes back to
Maybe
kind of like
online is just not as
zero,
good
like
as
worth
local.
value,
We'll
ideally,
find out if I
ideal
ever get to
base
play this
value,
with cousins.
and works its way
Oh,
up. So
I'm a
if you
pro.
just
I'm a
scroll down,
pro.
you'll find the same
I'm a
vehicle
pro. I'm gonna die
reposted,
alone.
and it will
Nothing
cost like
matters.
next
I'm
to
gonna die
nothing.
alone. I
I
have
don't
nothing.
know if
I am
Sakurai
nothing.
prepped for that,
If I died,
understood that,
nothing would
didn't
change.
care for
Okay,
that,
maybe
or
like
if
my
he was
mother
just
would
really
end
to
up
the
more
point when he
lonely.
said
That's
number
about
go
it,
up is
though.
fun. Because
Okay, you're
that's
my other
about
family member, I
really the
suppose.
gist of it there is the number goes
That's
up.
the first time I
It's
ever made it up
interesting.
there.
You're
And I
I mean
didn't get to
it's
see
kind
it.
of
It's
infatuating,
like
but
it was a big
it would be
zigzag turn
more
and it was really
interesting if
over there.
those vehicles were easier to rummage through. So there is one last thing that I keep forgetting. I bet you there's at least three things in this game that I have forgot. Like we could say the announcer. There's only two English, male or female, and they got some girl. The female announcer of the story mode is yeah. I stuck with the dude because he has personality. The girl kind of sounds like weird. I'm going to finish with this one. I apologize for anything that I missed. You can go ahead and tell me what I missed, or comments are always helpful, because I want to feel like I'm being heard or understood or something, and preferably not just shit on for shitting on. I mean, it's one thing when I say something about Sakurai, but when you feel the need to jump my ball sack just because I said something about Sakurai, I don't know. I feel like we lose the subject matter. But that being said, the uploads in Smash Bros had this of best clips, so to speak, is it's flawed. How do you say it's flawed? Similarly, it's flawed the exact same way that Smash Bros is, in to say that it's up to the player of whether or not they're going to upload. I don't remember it being that bad with Smash. I didn't adventure in it as much with Ultimate, but I was hoping to look if somebody already maxed out the flight mode, and there was no uploads of the up one. There were some uploads of the forward one, and you had to watch the whole 5 minute city trial thing. I couldn't see myself really skimming through it, and the alleged like clips versus vids, I do believe is what it was called. I couldn't detect any difference, and I checked both of those, and no one had posted the one that goes upwards, the jump trial. No one up posted that, and I remember that one was always way more impressive to me because that was like harder than ball sack, whereas the flying the furthest is again like an infatuating factor. It's neat, but I'm sure someone just got a legendary ride because that's, and they got their flight maxed. Someone hit the end. I just wanted to go watch it, and no one had uploaded. And I just made me realize that it might be a long time before someone decides to upload it because the game isn't really doing it for anyone. If I think that if it went based on a score system, it was like, hey, this is the top score. We saved the clip. Why ask the player to upload it, or not even ask them? Why rely on them to think of it? What if they didn't even know they were the world record? So it's a little artificial in that sense that you don't actually see the real world record, and that's too bad. But I just want to stop myself before I shit my heart out of my asshole. Thanks. I guess you have to say these things, so I'm going to say them. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I'll fuck you on the next video.